This is IDW Portfolio Tracker. The setup video covered getting your accounts in. This one shows you what the app does with them once they are there, screen by screen down the sidebar, starting with the one you land on. Notice the strip scrolling along the very bottom of the window. That's a live ticker of your holdings, and it stays there no matter which screen you're on. It runs dark in both light and dark mode, like a real market ticker, and the colors need a live weekday quote to mean anything. On a closed market, they show as a plain dash. The dashboard opens on a single number, your retirement score, out of 100. Below it are 6 letter grades covering diversification, dividend progress, whether you are on track to retire, risk balance, and tax efficiency. Hover any card, and it tells you exactly what would move that grade up. This is the screen that turns a wall of numbers into a short list of what actually needs your attention. Scroll down for the quick stats. How many holdings you own, your best performer, your highest yielding position, and your net worth after debts. Below that, the app writes you a short report. It looks for losses worth harvesting for tax purposes, holdings that have drifted away from your targets, and funds charging more than a cheaper equivalent would. All of it is calculated from your own numbers. The Portfolio tab lists every holding, grouped under the account it lives in, with a subtotal for each one. Click an account header to collapse it and get the others out of the way. The columns show what you paid, what it is worth now, the gain or loss in both dollars and percent, and the dividend yield. Prices refresh on their own. Anything that grows past 10% of your portfolio turns amber, and a warning panel appears explaining why that matters. Here it is, Johnson & Johnson, at almost 14%. If you hold the same fund in 2 different accounts, the app adds them together first. What counts is your total exposure to it, not how it happens to be split. Double-click a cost basis or a note to edit it in place. The notes column is a good spot for why you bought something, which is easy to forget 3 years later. Click any holding and recent headlines for that company load underneath. There's also a collapsed Ask the AI Advisor about your portfolio box right above the account list, for a second opinion whenever you want one. And the whole portfolio exports to a spreadsheet or a formatted PDF report grouped by account. The Charts tab opens on Quote. Pick any holding or watchlist name from the list on the left, and you get its own page. Price, today's change, a chart you can switch between line and candles, and a market data card with everything from its P/E ratio to its 52-week range. Own the ticker already, like Johnson & Johnson here, and a position card adds your shares, your average cost, and how much of your portfolio it makes up. Search for something you don't own yet, and the position card disappears. The panel just tells you it's not held and offers the chart and market data instead. Either way, you can arm a price alert right here. Pick above or below, type a target, and click Add Alert. It draws as a dashed line on the chart, and it lands in the exact same place as the Alerts tab, so the two never disagree about what's armed. Next to Quote, Allocation and Prices is the shape of your whole portfolio at once. The donut breaks you down by sector, so you can see at a glance whether you are as spread out as you thought. Next to it, a bar for every holding that pays you a dividend, ranked by how much it pays each year. Pick any holding and a period to see its price history from 1 month out to 5 years. The next sub-tab answers a harder question. How has your actual portfolio done against the S&P 500 or a dividend index over the same stretch? Click Compare, and it runs your real positions against that benchmark and gives you both numbers and the difference between them. It is a fair comparison, not a flattering one. The last sub-tab is the long view. Every time you open the app, it records what you are worth, and this chart draws that history. Narrow it to the last month or stretch it out to everything you have recorded. Day to day, the number moves for reasons you cannot control. Over years, the shape of this line is the one that matters. This is the tab that makes the app more than a spreadsheet. Analyze My Portfolio sends your holdings and your plan to Claude and writes you a report. Not generic advice, it names your own positions. You get a headline verdict, your progress toward each goal, a check on how far your allocation has drifted from your targets, and two columns: what is working and should be left alone, and what needs you to do something about it. The other buttons ask different questions. Quarterly review is a periodic check-in. Dividend income path works out what it would take to reach your monthly income goal. Tax placement review looks at which account each holding sits in. Each one comes back as a laid-out report rather than a wall of text, with a goal ring, your allocation, and a chart of what has drifted. Save as PDF keeps that same design and names the file after the report you ran, and Open PDF brings it back up. And the deep dive box takes any ticker and gives you a written opinion on that one company. The retirement tab opens with the answer: the earliest age the simulations say you can stop working, and how often that worked out. Below it is the gap. On one side, what you will need each month once inflation has had its way with it. On the other, what your portfolio and Social Security will actually deliver. The bar underneath splits that into guaranteed income and the part exposed to markets. Confidence comes from 2,000 simulated runs through different market outcomes. The sliders let you break it on purpose. Drop the market the year you retire. Push inflation higher. Add a healthcare shock. Every change reruns the simulation and shows you what it does to your odds, which is a far more useful thing to know before you retire than after. The recession simulator is blunter. Pick the dot-com crash, the 2008 financial crisis, or the COVID drop, and the app pulls the real market history from that period and runs your portfolio through it. Same money, same plan, a market that genuinely happened. Above it, two longer stress tests replay the 1970s and the 2 decades after 2000. Keep scrolling, and the app deals with the parts that surprise people. When your required withdrawals start, and how large they get by then, the app grows the balance forward, so that number is bigger than you expect. How much you could convert to a Roth each year, while staying inside your current tax bracket. Which account to draw from first, so you pay the least tax. And a simplified version of your first tax return in retirement. Scenario Compare puts the big choices next to each other. Retiring 3 years earlier. Claiming Social Security at 70 instead of 67. Every row runs against exactly the same simulated markets, so the difference between them is the decision itself and not luck. Click Compare, and you get a success rate and a likely ending balance for each. The watch list holds things you are thinking about buying, with the price, the 52-week range, and an analyst target. It has its own collapsed Ask the AI advisor about your watch list box, too. When you decide, one button moves it straight into your portfolio. Over time, your winners grow into a bigger share than you intended. The Rebalance tab lets you set a target percentage for each holding and tells you what to buy or sell to get back to it. The useful part is the last column. Because it knows which accounts are taxable and which are not, it tells you which account to do it in. And for a 401k or 403b, a fourth column flags employer stock that may qualify for special tax treatment when you eventually roll it out. If you are investing for income, this tab tracks it. Your current monthly dividend income against the goal you set, a 12-month view of how it has changed, and a calendar showing which of your holdings pays out in which month. That last part matters more than people expect. Dividends do not arrive evenly, and knowing which months are thin is how you plan around them. On the Alerts tab, you set a price and let the app watch it for you. When it hits, the app pushes a notification to your phone, texts you, emails you, or all three. One thing to know, the app has to be running for that to happen. Minimized or down in the tray is fine. Closed is not. Every alert row has its own remove button when you're done with it, and the same alerts you might have armed from a stock's quote page show up here too. All of that comes from the Profile tab, down in the Setup section of the sidebar. Great. Your age, when you want to stop working, what you earn, what you save, and how you would react to a crash. There is a questionnaire for the hardest question of all: how much you will actually need each month, and it offers you 3 answers: a survival budget, a comfortable one, and the one you would really like. Further down is the part most people put off. List your debts, and they come off your net worth automatically. Then, account by account, confirm who inherits it. And if the percentages do not add up to 100, the app tells you so. There is also a short checklist: will, power of attorney, healthcare directive, executor. Above a certain total estate value, an exemption warning appears too, though you won't see it on a portfolio this size. Rather than typing every trade, BrokerSync, also in the setup section, connects to your brokerage and updates your holdings for you, so the numbers you have just seen stay current on their own. Once a day is plenty after the market closes. And the About tab, last in that same section, has your version, the release notes, a user guide and a new setup guide, both saved as PDFs, and the videos, including this one, now tucked under a videos menu. That's the tour. Thank you for watching the feature tour of IDW Portfolio Tracker.